Officials say there have been no insect sightings since the cleaning. They would not identify the bug, but say pest control has given no indication that it is something kids or staff could bring home, like lice or bed bugs. The cleaning came after record student absences due to illnesses. A letter to parents urged families to help keep the school clean by clearing out lockers, washing items, and throwing away food. President Trump has been briefed on the shoot-down of a U.S. fighter jet over Iran. The pilot has been rescued, but crews are still searching for the second person on board. Another U.S. aircraft helping in the search was also hit, and that pilot ejected over the Persian Gulf and was safely recovered. Natalie Brand is at the White House with more details.
CBS News has confirmed U.S. forces rescued one of the two crew members of an F-15 that went down over Iran. Social media video showed two Black Hawk helicopters and a C-130 in what appeared to be part of the effort.
Operating low and pretty slow in broad daylight over Iran, looking for this downed aircrew. It's the kind of thing you would only do in a situation where you were willing to assume extraordinary risk because your objective was so important, namely saving some lives here.
Iranian media showed wreckage that weapons experts said appeared consistent with an American F-15 as Iran's Revolutionary Guard took credit for shooting down the fighter jet. It happened near the Persian Gulf, not far from Karg Island, Iran's main oil hub.
Ahead of the incident, President Trump posted on social media about the Strait of Hormuz and again threatened Iranian infrastructure, including bridges and power plants, if a deal is not reached.
The U.S. struck a new bridge near Tehran Thursday, which Iranian state media says left 8 people dead and dozens injured. Iran's foreign minister responded saying striking civilian structures and unfinished bridges will not compel Iranians to surrender. There are reports Iran has officially told mediators it is not willing to meet U.S. officials in Pakistan in the coming days. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
President Trump submitted a budget proposal to Congress today, which includes a $1.5 trillion request for the Pentagon. The Artemis II mission is now out of Earth orbit and is on its way toward the moon. The 4 astronauts spent the day doing a series of checks to make sure the spacecraft can support future missions to the moon. They are about 90,000 miles from Earth, traveling at about 4,700 miles per hour. In just a few days, they'll be farther out in space than any human has gone before.
I wanted to give a shout out to our families first because we are pretty far from Earth and we have not gotten to say hi to them yet.
Having just experienced incredible views of planet Earth and seeing the entire planet out the window in one pane, knowing that we're about to have some similar views of the moon in that same way is definitely getting me more excited for it.
Over the next few days, the astronauts are going to be very busy. They have a whole list of mission objectives to accomplish. The North Dakota Supreme Court is now weighing a fight over legislative term limits and whether voters even get to decide on a change this fall. Lawmakers want a November ballot question that would let them serve up to 16 years total in the legislature. Right now, they are limited to 8 years in the Senate and 8 in the House. The original term limit sponsors are suing, saying it's unconstitutional for lawmakers to weaken what voters passed in 2022. Attorneys for the legislature argue the court shouldn't step in until after voters act. The justices did not rule this week, but the Attorney General has urged a decision by June so that the ballot can be finalized. Renovation work is now in its 3rd week at Memorial Auditorium on Concordia College campus. Cobber Athletics say crews are giving the historic venue a fresh new look, including new white paint on the ceiling and brick walls. Concordia hasn't said, though, yet how much the project will cost or when the work will be finished. And UND is taking the first step toward putting sponsor logos on Fighting Hawks uniforms. Fighting Hawks Sports Partnership sent out a request for information this week. They want to hear from businesses interested in having their logo on UND uniforms, equipment, or other game day gear. The school says this is not a formal bid, just a way to measure interest and shape a future process. The move follows new NCAA rules that will allow more commercial logos on college uniforms starting in August. And Major League Baseball is back at Target Field, but the Twins' home opener did not start smoothly. First pitch was pushed back about an hour after a power outage hit the ballpark just before 2 o'clock. Lights and scoreboards eventually came back on, and the Twins are now hosting Tampa Bay in their first home series of the 2026 season. You can watch the game on KX. And a display of faith on this Good Friday. Dozens of people, including young children, braved the chilly temperatures and took to the streets of Fargo carrying a large cross. It was the 22nd annual youth-led Good Friday crosswalk. The silent and prayerful group spent the lunch hour making the 2-mile walk down 13th Avenue South to St. Andrew Lutheran Church. There are a variety of options of Good Friday services around the FM area this evening. All right, and that's all for our news at 5:30 tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, make sure you have the VNL weather app. That's going to be a big help this weekend, and have a good Easter.